Not as an American citizen. No. I think it would be you can't call yourself an ideological, like a trans citizen. I'm a trans citizen. I identify as American, you know. In the future, should finance and political situation permit, I very much so would like to be. I am very much so more American-minded than Canada, especially since I just had a fucking prime minister. My prime minister just said that we don't have a right to defend ourselves with a firearm in Canada. It's just not a right that we have. Somebody threatens your life with a gun, nothing you can do. I know a lot more about American both history and politics, but no, I consider myself very American-minded, but not an American citizen, because I don't pay American taxes. You know what? Maybe that's what I consider They didn't take our guns all away. They are in the process of taking our guns. You can still own a gun in Canada. You need to apply for a possession and acquisition license. Oh, dude, no offense, my government is shit, man. Dr. Jordan Peterson just released this great big 22-minute video explaining just like how far Canada has fallen and how much of it is the responsibility of Justin Trudeau. Because we have had Justin Trudeau since 2015. He's been running the country for like 7 years. Maybe it hasn't been longer than that? Maybe 2014, I don't know. But yeah, no, dude, I'm absolutely fucking not proud of my government. I didn't vote for the motherfucker. Oh, I absolutely agree with you, dude. I absolutely agree. And that's one of the reasons that I consider myself so much more American-minded. And why I would very much like to be an American citizen. And I mean, like, the Founding Fathers knew that, right? I mean, they just came, they were living in a situation in which King George was fucking with them constantly, overtaxing, and they had really nothing that they could do. So when they were finally able to overthrow that, and they were only able to get away from it because of that ocean, and they knew that, they were like, we need to set up a way that this can never happen again. This may be the last opportunity for people to ever do so, the last opportunity for people to ever live free in this world, right? Because we're not going to find another continent. So they understood. That's also why there was so many people involved in that process. Yep, it's been it has been written. A lot of what's going on right now, all totalitarian and communist governments have done it in the past. I'm not really sure how much I can say on Twitch, because as I'm sure you're aware, the overwhelming majority of media and corporations are absolutely catering to the woke. So I'm sure there's certain things that I can't say here. But if you're looking for good shit to watch, Tim Pool, Timcast IRL, it's every night at 5. Ooh, in fact, that's in 40 minutes. 50 minutes, I might go watch that. What else we got? We've got America Uncovered. That's like another good show on YouTube. There's a guy, he's an African-American lawyer by the name of Colin Noir, N-O-I-R, who's a very Second Amendment, pro-Second Amendment kind of guy. I mean, you also got Donut Operator and Brandon Herrera, but a lot of people know about them. And they're more goofy than educated political. Alright, let's go talk to Buddy Boy in here. What else do you say? You know what? I'm gonna show you something. Because you asked, you're gonna get to see behind the scenes here. Whoop-oo. Does that answer your question? That's about right. But before I apply to become an American citizen, I need to get myself an education. So, because there's 3 types of citizen that you can apply as when you go. You can either, the bottom is like, there's a refugee, unskilled worker, and skilled worker. So, I at the very least like to be able to ride this line as opposed to ride this line. So yeah, once we've done that, got some property under us, and we're gonna start looking at that. And of course, I need to learn more. Like, I know a lot about the States, but you know, changing colors like that is a big decision. So it's just a lot that goes into it. All right, what the hell am I doing here? Where is this Harvey sucker? Clear concord of hostiles. Oh, okay. Maybe I should have spaceman jumped down. Watch that Deathclaw not be dead at all. Let's go find out. Raider. Yeah, and see, that's the difference. Oh, the Deathclaw is still there. That's the difference between America and Canada, is that in your founding documents, it very specifically says that the right to bear arms shall not be infringed, and that a well-armed militia is essential for the security of a free state. Unfucking deniable. Which is why the Supreme Court has overturned so many gun restriction laws. Right now, they're actually, I don't know if, yeah, right now they're trying to pass a high capacity magazine ban in the States. Whereas, anyway, so here in Canada, we don't, nowhere in the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms does it say anything about weaponry. It's just, it's not a right that we are guaranteed anywhere. We're a colonial power, you know what I mean? We've always been a sister state. First of the British, then of America, and now we basically belong to China, right? And the good thing about the States is that while the government is trying to do all of these things, like take the guns away, look at China, right? I follow ADV Podcast, which is now switched into the China Show. And China Uncensored, and the fact that it's been taking them 20 years to take away the guns shows that there's resistance and that there's systems set up to fight that. Violating the Second and the First. No, I get it. Yeah, they do. They are. And I don't think they understand that. And honestly, I think what it comes down to is I think that there is a growing group of people in America who believe, either rightfully so, or because they've been brainwashed, they fundamentally disagree with the founding documents that America was built upon. And they want to change them. I don't think they have a right to change them. If you don't like it, leave. You know, I think that there's two ideologies inside America. One of them is American, and one of them hates the idea of what America is. So your options when you hate the place that you live, speaking as somebody who kind of feels that way, your options are to either fight to overthrow or leave. I believe in Canada's right to exist as a country that values freedom, or security over freedom, right? If they want to have all the guns taken away and live in this nanny state with super surveillance, if that's genuinely what they want, then I think that they are more than free to have that. I will just have no fucking part in it. So in the States, you have a group of people that seem to fundamentally disagree with the founding documents of America, so everything that they are doing is, you know, technically illegal, or at least the things that they want to do, right? Now, the point of America is that if the populace wants it, so it shall be changed. That's why all of the amendments, right? But they ride a line, and that's why there's a, who is it? There's certain congresswomen, Taylor Marjorie Greene, that's what I'm meaning to say. She was just on Timcast recently. You know, I heard her speak for like, in a real conversation for like 2.5 hours, and you know, she's like, I think we might have a national divorce coming. You know, because there's just two ideologies that are so completely separate. And that's actually why I'm reading about the Civil War, is to kind of understand how it happened, right? Because, yeah, there's a huge conflict of ideologies right now. And fuck knows how it's going to go. But which is why if I did move to the States, I would not be moving to California. I would be moving to Montana or something, right? And as much as they're trying to take away the guns, the states, like each individual state, is set up in such a way that they have both the physical capability and the legislative ability to take care of themselves. American states are much more self-sufficient than Canadian provinces are. If a Canadian province wanted to tell the federal government to go fuck themselves, the federal government would just withhold all of the healthcare dollars, and the healthcare system in that province would sink. And that's like our claim to fame, so nobody wants that. Whereas the states, lots of them, can just tell the federal government to go fuck themselves. And what are they going to do? Gun rights are a perfect example. The transgender laws are a perfect example. Abortion, a great example. Just the idea that, and it's a problem the federal government's getting too big, right? And that's why there's more fight now than ever before. But I would take hope and faith in the fact that not only that there are people who disagree, there are leaders who disagree. There are governors, and that's what's important. The governor is the most important person in American politics. The state governor. And people forget that, right? The United States of Governors. So, if there are still governors that oppose it, if there are still states that oppose it, then, you know what I mean? Like, worst case scenario, Texas will just leave. They've done it before. Texas was its own republic before it ever joined America. And they joined on the context that, like, hey, we can fuck off whenever we want. So, I've got a little bit of faith in the fight against government power that is happening. I live in British Columbia. I live in a small, I didn't realize the second person hopped in here. I live in a island the size of Cuba off of the west coast of Canada. I was born in Ontario, though. I was born and raised. I moved out of Ontario when I was 22. Me and my best friend, one of my best friends, packed up all of our shit into a car and in a storage unit. We just took off across the country and lived in a forest. Vancouver Island. My dad says Victoria Island, too. Yeah, that whole story is on YouTube. It's on my YouTube channel. It's called The Wild Trail, about me documenting my trip across the country and moving to British Columbia and eventually making the choice to stay. But yeah, the last battle for freedoms is happening in America. And I think that America is the last chance that people really have to live as completely the masters of their own destiny. Because if America falls, we're fucked. And I don't mean like collapses, but I just mean if the framework that makes up the American political system is altered to such a point that it is no longer a confederation of states, like a republic, and it is now like a triangular top-down system, then, you know, save maybe the Mars colony, right? I don't know how else we'd ever establish that form of government again, which is why it's so important to fight for it now. I don't think there is a Victoria Island. I may be incorrect. Or if there is, it's probably in Africa.